Alright, legends, welcome along to Sceam Me Up Botty. I am your host, Rodney Stewart. We're getting into Star Trek, the original series, Season 2, Episode 21, Patterns of Force. Very, very interesting little episode, and one that takes a little bit of a twist near the end with a line by Spock that led to the not just that, but depictions within the episode leading to it being banned in Germany until 1995, I do believe. But we'll get to that at the end whenever we get into the reception of the episode. So at the beginning, the Enterprise arrives at a planet, Akos, to investigate the disappearance of a Federation cultural observer named John Gill, who was one of Captain Kirk's history professors whenever he was at Starfleet Academy. Whenever the Enterprise gets into orbit around the planet, it's attacked by a rocket armed with a thermonuclear warhead. Technology that is too advanced to be from either Akos or their neighbouring planet Xeon, two very powerful planets. Akos is a warlike, anarchist society, while Xeon is a peaceful, advanced society. Kirk suspects Gill may be responsible for the introduction of advanced technology. Did I say two different planets? I might have misspoke with that there. Like two different races, let's just say. The Akos, where are we at? Xeons and Akos. Okay, we'll just go with that there for now. Kirk, he suspects that Gill may be responsible for the introduction of advanced technology, which would mean that he's contaminated the planet and the culture, violating the Prime Directive. Kirk and the First Officer Spock beam down to the planet to start investigating. Before they transport to the surface, Chief Medical Officer Dr. McCoy inserts emergency transponders into them, a type of homing device, and the forearms of each of them in the event that they cannot use their communicators. When they get down there, Kirk and Spock watch in horror as a Xeon citizen is arrested by Ecosian soldiers dressed as brown-shirted Nazi stormtroopers. An outdoor video showreel shows the Ecosian rally featuring huge crowds shouting Nazi-style slogans and wearing swastika emblazoned flags. So I do believe that they probably showed actual footage from the actual rallies back in the 30s or whatever. A female Nazi officer, Doris, is shown receiving a Medal of Honor, the Iron Cross, second class. The final solution is mentioned, meaning apparently the execution of all Xeons on Akos as a prelude to the entire destruction of Xeon. The broadcast ends with the reporter making the Nazi salute to the picture of the Fuhrer, whom the shocked Kirk recognises as John Gill. Startled and determined to contact Gill, Kirk and Spock manage to steal uniforms from a couple of the soldiers and attempt to infiltrate the main headquarters, but they're caught when Spock's ears are exposed. He and Kirk are tortured until party chairman Enog orders them thrown into a cell for further interrogation, where they meet Isaac, the Xeon prisoner they had seen arrested earlier. Skipping over a lot of stuff here. This is definitely one of these episodes where it's worth getting to check it out yourself. It definitely is. It's one of those ones that it could shock you in a lot of ways. So the trio quickly engineer an escape plan using the crystals from Kirk and Spock's transponders, the little things that McCoy had injected him with earlier on. They managed to turn that into like a cutting torch laser and get out of their cells. They retrieve their communicators. Isaac takes him to meet the underground resistance led by his brother Abron. Suddenly their hideout is raided, led by Doris, the woman that they seen in the show, or the newsreel earlier on, getting the award. That's quickly revealed as a ruse to test the stranger's loyalty. Doris is actually a resistance member who has infiltrated the government. Abron explains that the Deputy Führer Melikon is actually the leader of ACOS. In turn, Kirk and Spock explain the situation from their perspective and ask for help in locating John Gill, and they learn that the Führer is to make a speech that evening that will officially launch the final solution. So to gain entrance into the broadcast centre, the whole group pretends to be a film crew. They find there's some funny little moments throughout this episode too of Spock trying to blend in and whatnot, hiding the ears, and explanations away. His skin looks a little bit different than everybody else's. So they're running about this place, the headquarters, in uniforms again. They're running about with cameras and lighting and whatnot. So they get in, they're searching through, they manage to find Gill in the broadcast and Biff surrounded by guards, seemingly dazed, but beginning his speech. Kirk and McCoy beam down. Kirk has Dr. McCoy beamed down, he arrives in the cloakroom, and of course they're hiding out in the cloakroom and whatnot, and they're trying to get McCoy down here to, work on John Gill, and as usual McCoy's his bitching little self, trying to get down there. He can't get the boots to fit, and Kirk orders him to send him down anyway. So he appears there, but he's standing like he's trying to get the boot on, and he's complaining and getting on, and Spock was like, it's very simple. You just, you angle your foot and you pull, sort of a thing. He turns up. The party's discovered by a security team led by Chairman Enog, who surprisingly does not seem to recognise them. After he leaves, Isaac explains that Enog is also a resistance member. They use the excuse that McCoy's drunk, sort of a thing. So sneaking onto the broadcast booth, McCoy confirms Gill is heavily drugged. He administers a counteractive stimulant, while Spock uses a Vulcan mind meld on Gill to figure out what's going on. This confirms that Melikon was responsible for Gill's condition. Barely coherent, Gill explains that he initially imposed a form of Nazism, fascism upon the lawless Ecosians because he believed it to be the most effective system of government ever devised. The system worked in Ecos until Melikon gained control and twisted it into a tool to wipe out Zeon. Kirk makes Gill aware of the extent to which Ecos has progressed towards resembling actual Nazi Germany. Gill, now lucid enough to speak in his own mind, renounces the final solution to the planet over the broadcast. He cancels the invasion of Zeon and declares Melikon a traitor. Melikon grabs a submachine gun and opens fire on the broadcast booth, fatally wounding Gill in retaliation. Isaac shoots Melikon twice, killing them. Enog and Darius, still officially respected party leaders, agree to stop the bloodshed and plan to announce the end of the regime. Enog thanks Kirk and Starfleet's help, but asks them to leave, saying that it's up to the two planets to rebuild themselves. that is the plot in a nutshell. But let's get into the reception of the episode here. And there's just one thing that came up here, and it's the German broadcast history, essentially. Because the episode contains the Nazi uniforms and insignia and features a character who makes the statement that Nazi Germany was the most efficient society ever created. Those words came from Spock in the episode. It was considered unfit for entertainment in Germany under, I'm not even going to try and pronounce the name of the broadcasting company, whatever that might be, Strafgesteberg. They probably destroyed that completely. Whatever that is, Section 83A, that was considered unfit for broadcast. Consequently, the episode is the only one which was not aired during either of the two original runs in Germany on the public ZDF network in the mid-1970s and on the private Sat1 network in the late 1980s, early 1990s. It was only dubbed into German in 1995 and was presented in the original English with subtitles and all other German releases. It was finally shown on German pay TV in 1996 and included on the DVD Blu-ray season box sets. On November 4th, 2011, it was finally shown on the public network channel ZDF Neon as well. So, yeah, that's all it really has for the reception of what I could get on it here. So again, it's one of those episodes. It's like, Star Trek was never afraid to tell a story, and they had a lot of balls to pull this one off back there whenever they done it and whatnot. But you can see it, as bad as it was and everything that happened, the truth of the matter is, what Spock says in the episode, along with John Gill, what way did John Gill put it? He explains that he initially imposed a form of Nazism, fascism upon the lawless Ecosians because he believed it to be the most efficient system of government ever devised. And Spock agrees with him, making the statement that Nazi Germany was the most efficient society ever created. And, as shocking as that can be to a lot of people, it is a fact. It is a fact. You can't, as bad as it was and the horrors that came from it, the idea behind it, if it had have been done by someone other than who done it, let's just say, might have actually worked. And I don't know, I'm not a history student, but it is a fact. It is a fact, and it will come as a shock to a lot of people. And it just goes to show you the German people are not happy with their own history and whatnot. Like, you've seen that in countless episodes on TV. Something that just jumped to mind there was the episode of Faulty Towers, where the German guests came and Basil Fawlty was like, whatever you do, don't mention the war. And by the end of the episode, he loses his mind completely, and he ends up doing the goose step around the room. And one of the German guests says, we don't like this, our history is, it's embarrassing to us, sort of a thing. So you can see that there in real life, where it's just the German broadcast history just was like, this episode is not fit to be shown and whatnot. But definitely one of those episodes that will leave you something to think about in a big way. Star Trek was always good at doing that there, dropping in something to keep the mind going after you finished the actual episode. Classic Star Trek anyway, not this new nonsense that they're putting out for the most part. Right, that's going to do it, guys. Whatever you're doing, stay safe. Check out the website Coins Age Media for everything else I'm doing. If you want to give me a shout directly, Sceam Me Up Botty at gmail.com is the email for the show. So I'm off. Stay safe. I will talk to you in the next episode.